Let's wait a couple minutes for more people to join today's live class. And if anyone could let me know if you could hear me and see me properly while I load up everything here. Just let me know in the chat, please. I'll get my second phone here to pull up the chat. Good morning, Elizabeth. Can you let me know if you could hear me okay and everything before we continue? And let me make sure I'm still setting up my second phone here. Okay, it's good. Hold on. Sorry, guys. All right, so today's class is really for those that are part of my Seed Club subscription. So every time I ship out one of the deliveries, it's once every 3 months for each season. So I have a seed subscription service, and I try to do a live class just for them after I ship it out, so we can kind of review everything and the things that were shipped, and any questions that they might have. So whenever I do a live class, obviously it's open to the public, like on YouTube. It's just like open to everybody. So we might get some people who are not part of my seed subscription in here. And I just want to say that since the purpose of this class is for those that are part of the seed subscription, I'm definitely going to answer their questions first. That's kind of like the priority. But if we have extra time, or there's not any other questions at the moment, then I'd be happy to answer just general garden questions, or from anyone else if you so happen to be in here. So let me get the live chat pulled up. Welcome, Gwen. Hello, everybody. Thank you, everyone, for confirming that you can hear me well. So yeah, if you don't know anything about the seed subscription service, you can go to my website, jarrahsgarden.com. There's also a link in the description of this live class, and it'll take you to the webpage that kind of explains how all that works. I started a seed subscription service a little less than a year ago because everyone was asking me to start a service like this to help guide you through the seasons and make really good recommendations of what will grow that season. I would say probably the number one problem or issue or mistake that gardeners make when they're trying to grow food from seed specifically is planting it at the wrong time. If you plant something at the wrong time of year, it's not going to grow well for you, or it'll just be covered in like diseases and pests. So you definitely want to start learning like how to plant and grow things at the correct time for your season. And so how to grow something is the same no matter where you're located. Like how to grow a carrot is going to be the same method, technique, all of that, no matter where you're located. But the timing is going to differ a little bit. So this seed subscription service, I put it together with in mind what would grow well during the season. So what would grow well during spring or summer or fall or winter. And then there's very specific detailed instructions explaining the correct time, how to calculate the correct time to plant those things, no matter where you're located. And I always ship a season ahead. So that way, like, for example, I just shipped out the winter garden seed collection. So it's a season ahead. That way, if you're in a colder climate and you're supposed to be like growing these things like now, you have plenty of time to do that. Or if you're like me, I'm in a hotter climate, I'm going to wait until next month to start planting all those things, because that's really when things finally like cool down enough in my area that I could start planting cool season stuff. So that way it will work for everyone. It's just the timing of when you would start planting those things are going to be different. So that's how it works. And again, if you want like full details, there's 4 different plans according to like garden size and stuff like that. Go to my website, jarrahsgarden.com, or the link in the description, and you can read all about it and see how it works. But those of you that are in my seed subscription, you get the live class after I ship the next delivery out. So today we're talking about the winter one specifically. You also get access to my private gardening Facebook group, and that's been really fun for me. I get to kind of know you guys a little bit more. It's really hard, like on, YouTube, Facebook, all over the place, wherever I'm at, to like keep up with people's messages and questions and stuff. I mean, I'm one person, I'm not like a team of people, so it's really hard for me to like, notice all of these messages. But if you're part of that private gardening group, then it's very easy. Like, I check that stuff all the time. I definitely prioritize their questions, and it's really nice just to see your progress and what your gardens look like. And if you have questions, everyone has been really nice and just like helping answer those questions and helping each other out. So it's a really good resource for gardeners, no matter where you're located. But anyways, let's see. So let's get started. Let's talk a little bit about the seeds that I shipped out, kind of maybe like why I chose them, what I like about them, and stuff that you would have to know. And then, if we have extra time, I'll definitely just answer general garden questions and chit chat about stuff. I definitely, like, whenever I do a class, it's scheduled to be like an hour long, but I usually like always go over because I just love talking with you guys. But today I have to make sure that I end this at noon Eastern time because I do have a family lunch that I have to go to. So today is going to be just that hour. If you have a question and I missed it or I didn't have enough time, please feel free to send me an email at info@jarrahsgarden.com, and I'd be happy to answer your question there. Also, just so you all know, it is officially fall right now. So I'm doing a fall plant sale on my website. Everything is, all the plants are 15% off with code FALLPLANT15. You can see that code in the description as well of this class. And I do that because fall is actually one of the best times of the year to be planting like perennials and fruit trees and stuff like that. Because as we approach like winter, things start to go in dormancy, or at least the upper part of the plant that you see, the foliage, the leaves, that kind of stuff. Some things tend to go in like a winter dormancy, but underneath the ground, there's still a lot of activity happening. Those roots are growing now that the plant isn't focusing so much of its energy on leaves and stems and that kind of thing because it's gone dormant. It starts to focus more of that energy in like the root system and establishing that. And that's really nice because then come next year, like spring and definitely summer, the root system should be a little bit more established, and it will be able to handle like the extremes of, the heat of summer and rain and all of that kind of stuff. So fall is actually a nice time to plant a whole bunch of things. So that's why I'm doing that fall plant sale with 15% off. But Susan is asking, not sure how to access that group. I'm assuming you mean the Facebook group. And hold on, guys, my Teddy's out here, but he's crying because he wants to go back inside. So let me open the door for him real quick. Go ahead, go. So my dog Teddy, you guys maybe have seen him in some of my videos and stuff. He needs to be like on top of me all the time. But when I'm outside, it is so hot here that even he gets like tired of it and cries to go back inside. So it is still really hot here in Florida. It's still like 90s and stuff like that. So whenever I do the last couple months, like the live classes I've been doing has been in my patio because it's shady and I have a fan. But normally I like to go out in the garden and like show you guys what's going on or teach something, talk about it, whatever, and show you like the garden and the plants. But it is so hot out there and I really don't have like shady spots out in the garden. And my phones have overheated sometimes and then they shut off. So that's why I'm like, I have been in here, but I really want to get back out in the garden. We'll see how quickly like the cool season moves in. Hopefully like mid or end of October, I can finally start going back out in the garden for my lives. But anyways, Susan was asking how to access the Facebook group. So if you're a subscriber, I don't know if you still have the card that came with the seed subscription delivery. There's always like a little postcard in there. and it has instructions on how to join that Facebook group, the link to find it, or you can scan like the QR code that is on that card. It will take you to a link tree. A link tree is just like a place where I could put files and links for you guys to reference all in one place. So that's why I use the link tree with these subscriptions. But in there, it also has a link to that Facebook group. And then when you click on that, you're going to go to, it's a private group. You have to answer some questions and put the email that you used when you subscribed for the seed subscription. Because I do copy and paste the emails to search and find them within all the subscribers to verify that you are an active subscriber. And then I approve it and you gain access to the Facebook group. If you are not a seed subscriber, then I deny your request, but I put in details like why and a link to the seed subscription. So if you want to join, you can do that. So if you've ever got a denial before, that's probably why. But yeah, if you're an active seed subscriber, you have to fill out those questions and put the email that you're using with your seed subscription so I can verify and approve. But yeah, if you still can't find the QR code, or maybe you don't have the little card that came with this or whatever, email me at info@jarasgarden and I'll send you the instructions as well on how to join that Facebook group, or my private gardening Facebook group. Okay, so let's get started. If you guys ask a question in the chat, please put your state and your USDA garden zone. That just helps me answer the question as best as possible. Nandy is asking, can I plant fruit trees in big pots? Yes, you absolutely can. If you're going to go that route, I highly recommend that you do your research before you buy that fruit tree and choose dwarf varieties. So dwarf means the overall mature plant will be much shorter than like the full-size version of that plant. So those will grow better in a large pot than the full-size tree. Also, make sure you do your research and select the varieties that are self-fertile. Okay, so some fruit trees are not self-fertile and they need another one. So like, let's say 2 peach trees, for example, they need to be planted next to another one so they can cross-pollinate to produce fruit. So if you get one that's self-fertile, that means you can have just one tree and it will pollinate itself. It doesn't need to cross-pollinate with another tree. And still produce fruit. So that's really good, especially if you have small gardens, not a lot of space, or you're growing in containers. So you make sure that you still get production. So dwarf sizes and self-fertile are key. Pretty much every fruit tree or plant, whatever that I sell, is self-fertile. And a lot of them are also dwarf sizes for that very reason, because I'm a small gardener. So I focus a lot on those types of varieties, like 1 or 2 that are not, but I still grow them because there's something about it that I really like the giant yellow Brazilian passion fruit. I just really love that passion fruit. The flavor is huge. It produces a lot of juice, and it's worth growing. I have 3 vines growing next to each other, so they all like self-pollinate each other, or not self-pollinate, but like cross-pollinate with each other. But anyways, and as far as deciding the size of the container to grow your fruit tree, the bigger the better, always, all right? But I would definitely recommend something larger than a 7-gallon size container if you can. It's a fruit tree. It's, the bigger, the container, the bigger that root system can get, and the better for the overall tree, so it could harness more energy and nutrients to really output, production. So if your concern is maybe bringing that tree indoors when it gets cold or something, then I highly recommend maybe getting, I don't know what you call them, like the little round things with wheels that you put your pots on so you can move them around really easily, because obviously that's going to get pretty heavy if you do got to move it indoors. But yeah. Let me see what else we got here. What about soursop trees? Can you grow in pots, and what size? Yes, you absolutely can grow soursop trees. or Rollinia. Rollinia is one of like my favorite species in that family. They're all kind of related in the same family. I was growing a Rollinia in a huge pot and it was fine. I don't remember the gallon size though. It was a pretty big one though. Probably like 20 or 25 gallons, I would say. But yeah, Rollinias, soursops, all of that, they don't need to be like the biggest size tree to start producing. And they also produce pretty quickly from seed, like within 2 or 3 years, growing it from seed, a tree from a seed. So pretty easy fruit tree option to grow in a container. But gas, I'm not sure where you're located. And just so you know, Rollinias, soursop, all that kind of stuff, do not like the cold. So I'm in zone 10A, which means the coldest that I get here in Orlando, Florida is like 30 degrees Fahrenheit on any like average winter. And I have to protect my soursop and Rollinia trees. If not, the cold will damage the flowers and then you get no fruit. Like if you don't have flowers, it's not going to get fruit. So I tend to bring that tree into this patio here to kind of just protect it during the winter. Oh, you're in West Palm Beach? I think you're fine. You're more south than me. I'm going to guess you're probably a zone 11, maybe. Barely any frost, if anything at all. So yeah, you can grow those things outside, no problem then. But okay, guys, so let me just show off what came with the winter seed subscription. Since this class was really for my members of the seed subscription. So I just mailed out the winter one a little bit earlier than what I normally do. It was originally scheduled to ship out starting on September 20th, but I was in Costa Rica for 2 weeks doing a permaculture course, so I shipped it out way early, like on September 5th or 6th, right before I left for that course. I wanted to make sure everyone got everything. You know, because I came back the 23rd or something like that. So, yeah, I didn't want you guys to get your seed subscriptions late. So I shipped it out a little bit earlier this time. The next one is on track to ship out December 20th. And that will be for the spring seed collection. So that's how that works. But anyways, I have 2 different sizes of these plants. The first one is the 6-pack. So it comes with 6 different varieties of seeds. And then I have the 12 one that comes with 6 more that are different than these, obviously. So for everyone that got the 6-pack, you got the VeroFly Smooth Spinach. Spinach really grows well in cool weather. I can only grow this during the winter here, but those of you in a state north of me can pretty much grow this all fall and winter, so everyone loves spinach. And this variety is typically harvested when it's like a baby leaf and still like smooth kind of leaf texture, so to speak. So very easy to grow. Spinach seeds for the most part, I like to like rake up. First off, I follow like square foot gardening guidelines. And by the way, guys, I also do planting layouts that I include with the seed subscription that kind of shows some ideas on how to plant these things in a garden bed or containers or whatever. And I am revamping the layouts that I typically do right now because I want it to match more with like what was the most common or popular raised bed sizes or containers or whatever that my subscribers are growing. So I kind of took like a poll or a question, and I have to change up the whole thing to kind of match more with what you all are doing. So for example, the majority of people who responded are growing in beds that are size 4 foot by 8 foot. Like that one came up a lot. So I'm revamping the layout to reflect that. Someone was asking about GreenStalk Garden Towers, so I'm making a layout for that. I haven't done that before, so I'm like fixing that up. And just some of the other more common ones that I found. So my goal is to have that done today or tomorrow, and then I will send an email out, post it, whatever, send you guys the files so that you guys can kind of get some ideas on how to plant all these things. So I'm a little behind on it because I'm like changing it all up basically, but it's coming. So anyways, the 6-pack, you guys got VeroFly spinach. You guys also got Detroit dark red beets, very good standard old heirloom variety. I love growing my own beets because I like, especially during fall and winter when it's like flu season, I like to make different kinds of cold pressed juices with beets and ginger and turmeric and like lots of different stuff, and take like a shot every day. So I really like beets for that purpose. And if you didn't know, I also have a second YouTube channel where I just post my recipes and like stuff, homemade body products and just stuff that I make, usually with plants and ingredients and veggies and whatever from my garden. That was the whole purpose of it. I used to post it here on my gardening channel, but I decided to split it and kind of just separate it so it was just more organized, so to speak. So there's a link for that in the description as well. It's called Jera's Fresh Kitchen. And I do have a video showing how I make the beet ginger shots. I posted that, I think it was last year. But there's like 6 different flavors of like fresh cold pressed juice shots to give you all ideas. And since the flu season is coming up, it's definitely something that I like to do. So anyways, beets, pretty easy to grow, and there's lots you can do with them. Also, I included a very good standard romaine lettuce. This is also an old heirloom variety, pretty much grows well in a variety of different climates. And I just posted, I think it was last week, a YouTube tutorial on how to grow romaine lettuce specifically from seed to harvest. So go check that out, and you can get like full detailed instructions from beginning to end on how to grow romaine lettuce specifically. Also, I included purple bok choy. I love growing bok choy. It typically grows for many, many months here in my Florida garden. It has a pretty good heat tolerance. So I start direct sowing seeds for this in October, and maybe the last time I'll do it is like March or something like that, because then it starts getting like way too hot. But I always say that the darker colored version of whatever veggie, fruit, whatever you're growing, tends to be more heat tolerant. I think it has something to do with the anthocyanins in here. I don't know. That's usually what gives fruits and veggies this dark purple color. But anytime I grow a dark purple or black or whatever variety of a vegetable, I just notice that it always tends to tolerate the heat a lot better. So this one I grew like all last year, like fall, winter, early spring. I absolutely loved it. I did make a video. That video is not ready yet, but it's coming within the next few weeks or next month or something like that. So there will be a video on this one, but I absolutely love it. It's very beautiful. I've never seen purple bok choy in the grocery store ever. And so the leaves are like really dark, intense purple, and the stems are like a neon green. So it's just really, really pretty. But anyways, I also included green arrow. These are peas, sweet shelling peas. So you open the pod and take the peas out, preferably when they're fresh, and you eat them like sweet green peas. I absolutely, absolutely love growing my own peas because they have a high sugar content, but as soon as you harvest that stuff, the sugars start to break down. So the ones that you buy at the grocery store have lost like a lot of its sugar content. And so when you grow peas at home yourself and you get to taste them like fresh, you really are going to notice just how much sweeter they all taste. So this is fun to grow. Kids really also love peas. Like my son, he's 8 years old and he absolutely hates vegetables, but I caught him like sneaking peas in his mouth in the garden because they're that good and they're that sweet. So this is really fun to grow, especially for the kids, and he'll help me shell them out. It's not that hard, and it's totally worth like growing your own peas. So that's why I included this with the winter collection. And lastly, for the 6-pack is this cilantro. Cilantro likes to grow in cool weather, and it actually tolerates a lot of cold, down to about 10 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's a really good herb for anyone to be growing at this time. If you're a cold season gardener, or like a cold, like you're in a state north of me and it gets really cold, you could probably still grow this because it'll tolerate down to about 10 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you're in a warmer, hotter climate like me, where your cool season is finally coming, now it's time for you to also grow cilantro. So that's why I included it. I just direct sow the seeds, super easy. By the way, all of the seeds that I included this time, you guys pretty much direct sow them. I was looking at them, and there's not really one that I would say, oh, start this one indoors and grow a transplant versus direct sowing. All of these pretty much can be direct sown right now. So, okay, so that completes all of the ones that were included with the 6-pack. So now I'm going to talk about the additional 6 that came with those of you that got the 12-pack. And Barbie, I see your question. Do I have any onion starts? I'm about to. So onion and strawberry bare root season is starting in October. And that's the time of year when I go and contact the farms that I go get them from, like the fresh bare roots or the strawberry starts. Because I'm a nursery, I have access to like getting these from like wholesalers, so to speak. So I will order like a big quantity of them. I use the same ones in my garden, and then I distribute like others to like you guys, so you guys can easily find some of these things. A lot of places sell out, so it gets really hard to find them sometimes. So I will not know until October what strawberry bare roots and what onion starts I'm gonna have this year. And then once I order them and they actually arrive and I take a look and make sure they're all good, then I will release them on my website. Basically update the inventory. Right now it's reflecting as an inventory 0 because I don't have any. But as soon as I get them in, verify they're good, whatever, I will be adding the inventory to my website. So the best thing for you to do, because they always sell out, and I'm a very small, tiny nursery. Literally, I run my nursery out of my garage that I converted with an AC and all of that into like a full-fledged like plant nursery. So I can't stock like a lot of inventory, so things tend to like go out and sell out fast. I try my best, but I'm just telling you guys. So these things will sell out. The best thing for you to do is to go to my website, purcahsing.com, click on the website link for the strawberry bare roots or the onions, whatever you're interested in. And there's a button on that page that says notify me when available. So you put your email in there. That way, as soon as I update the inventory levels, you all get like an instant notification that it's back in stock. And as soon as you get that, go, if you want to purchase them, go grab them because they will sell out. Last year, they would sell out. Then I would hurry up and go see if I could acquire more. And I was able to like get more a second round, and then they all sold out, and that was it. Like now we're done. Like there's no more left. So I try my hardest if I sell out to try and get more, but strawberry season is like really short here in Florida. It's literally the month of October is when like all the farms and everyone is like planting the bare roots. So that way you can start harvesting usually in like starting in December all the way through about March or April, something like that. So that's why like October's it. Like you get what there is or it's like gone. So anyways, I know your question was about the onion starts, but same thing with onions. Like if you're a southern gardener, that's my dog. Now he wants to come back out here after crying to go back in. But anyways, if you're a southern gardener, you grow short day onion varieties during the fall and winter. So you start harvesting them in spring. So not sure where you're located. Oh, Barbie, you're in Miami. So yeah, you definitely are going to be growing short day onion varieties. Usually we have a bigger window to plant that stuff though, like anytime starting in, I would say honestly like November and December being your last chance to get some in the ground. So that way they grow during the coolest parts of the year, and then you start harvesting those bulbs out before summer arrives, because summer just gets like so intensely hot and the bulbs, they start rotting and like all kinds of stuff. So the goal is to plant them in winter time so they grow, and you harvest them out by spring or before spring ends, and you're done with them. But so yeah, best thing to do is just go to my website and purcahsing.com, look at the onions that I have available. They all say out of stock right now, but just click the notify me now button so you get a notice as soon as possible. But okay, so these are the seeds that were included for those of you that got the 12 pack. So we've got watermelon radish. It's fun to grow. It's a unique color. There's a lot I feel you could do with watermelon radish compared to the regular radishes, so that's why I included it. One thing about radishes, because I always get this question. A lot of people grow radishes and they'll typically say they'll be ready for harvest, and it depends on the variety, but like 30 days, 45 days, something like that. Almost always when I grow a radish, it's never like ready at the 30 or 45 day mark. They're still kind of too small for my liking. If that's the case for you as well, leave them in the ground until they size up a little bit longer, a couple more weeks, and they'll size up, and then start harvesting them. So that is like the most common thing I get asked about radish, that they're not big enough. at the 30-day mark or whatever, just leave them in there then for a little bit longer. I also included red Russian kale because this is one of the most cold hardy kale varieties you can possibly grow. Keeping in mind those of you that are in a state north of me, so I try to include things that are very cold hardy in this winter seed subscription. And this will obviously grow well in those of you in a warmer climate. Just make sure you plant this when your cool season has officially arrived, because brassicas, this is part of the brassicas family, like cauliflower and broccoli and cabbage, they get stunted in growth if exposed to hot temperatures. So just wait until things cool down a little bit outside before you sow these seeds. I'm going to be direct sowing these in October because that's when I finally feel like you literally walk outside and you feel the coolness in the air. So that's when I'm going to start that. I also included Chinese celery. I grew this a lot last winter and fall. I think the Chinese celery is much easier to grow than the standard regular celeries. I don't know how to explain it. They grow faster. They're less finicky. They also tolerate, fluctuations in temperature a lot better than the regular one. So that's why I included it. It's just an easier to grow type of variety. I also feel like the flavor is a little bit more intensified with this one in a good way. But one thing about celery specifically is these seeds require light to germinate. So what that means is do not cover the seeds with soil. So basically I will prepare the ground wherever I'm planting this. It could be in a raised garden bed, it could be in a container, whatever. It's the same situation. And I sprinkle some seeds. There's a lot of seeds in here. There's tiny, but there's a lot. Just take a couple, sprinkle it over the soil surface, and then pat them down so they make contact with the soil, and then get your water hose on like the mist setting or something really gentle, and water the area or whatever. You don't want to use like the shower setting or like full blast or whatever, because then you're mixing the seeds with the soil and they could get covered with soil. So also pick a spot that has full sun, that's nice and sunny, because these seeds require light to germinate. So just sprinkle them, pat them down, gently water them in, keep the area nice and moist, and you'll see sprouts in like 7 to 10 days, something like that. Again, make sure that it's in a sunny spot because they require the light to germinate. And besides that, it's very easy to grow. All right, so if you guys could do that, very easy to grow. Miriam is asking if you can plant them here in Puerto Rico, which, I'm sorry, I just now saw your question, so I don't know what seed you were talking about. So if you could just let me know what seed you're talking about so I can answer your question. But anyways, the other thing I added was kohlrabi. These are really fun to grow. It's like it forms like this root on the surface, so you can watch it expand and get to size. You want to harvest these when they're about 3 inches in diameter for the best flavor and texture. This is also part of the brassicas family, but it's so much easier to grow than like broccoli or any of that kind of stuff. It just forms its little root at the surface and you just like harvest them out. And I really like the purple color because once again, I find that the darker colored varieties of things just tolerate the heat or like fluctuations in temperatures a lot better than the regular one. So that's why I included it. Plus it's just really pretty. So. I also included senso pie. I loved this last season. I love this. So if you like cabbage, this is like the best tasting cabbage thing I've ever grown. It is a hybrid. It's not an heirloom seed, but most of the seeds and stuff I have on my website are heirlooms because that's just what I favor. But if I come across a hybrid that is tasty or it solves a problem, like maybe it's got a higher disease resistance or something, or produces really well, then I'm going to offer it on my website. Like if it's good, it's good. Like being a hybrid is not a bad thing. So anyways, this is a hybrid, but think of this as like cabbage if it didn't grow a big head of cabbage in the center and it was just like loose leaf, like a loose leaf lettuce or something like that. So what that means is you can harvest the leaves and eat them whenever you feel like, instead of waiting for that head in the center to grow and develop and then harvest it. So yeah, you get to start eating it way sooner rather than later, because sometimes it takes like 3 months for that head of cabbage to like form. And the leaves look just like like cabbage leaves, but the flavor is way better. I believe this is a hybrid between like komatsuna and something else. I don't know, like two different Asian greens, and they got this. But I really like this. A lot of what attracted me to test this out and grow it was that a lot of people online were saying it was the best flavored cabbage thing they've ever grown, and I absolutely agree with them. So I had to include it with this winter seed subscription. I really enjoyed it, and if you guys like it too, let me know. Let me know what you guys thought about it. And the last thing I included in the winter seed subscription for the 12-pack is Shimonita Negi bunching onions. So if you didn't know, Japan is kind of like famous for their bunching onion varieties. They cook with green onions, bunching onions, like a lot. Like it's in ramens, it's like in so many of their dishes. And they also even just like slice them in half and grill them. And that's really, really tasty too. So they have a lot of unique varieties of bunching onions that I just don't see here, like in the United States and stuff. So I actually have to order this seed from the Japanese like company that bred this or maintains the seed. It is an heirloom. It's not like a hybrid. It is an heirloom, and Japan has a lot of heirloom Japanese varieties of bunching onions that they've just preserved over many, many generations. So I went all out and I like tested a whole bunch of Japanese varieties, and I really like this one. It's like an extra large size bunching onion, so it's like bigger in size than like the regular like green ones that you see at the grocery store. So just fun to grow, and onions have a very high cold tolerance as well. So anything in the allium family, actually, like onions, green onions, chives, garlic chives, like all of those things tolerate a lot of cold as well. So that's why they're always a good option to grow during the winter if you can. So that is all the seeds that were included with the winter seed subscription. Again, if you're not part of that and you want to know more info, you could check the description to find the link to my website that will explain how all this works. I've had a lot of fun putting these together, and we have a private Facebook group for those that are members of the seed subscription, where we just share pictures, ask questions. I can see your progress, and that's been really fun for me as well, just connecting with you all on that. So yeah, we've discussed all of the seeds that were included. I guess we just have some extra time. Yeah, oh, we're like way ahead here, because I do have to finish this at 12 noon Eastern time. But yeah, so I'm gonna open this up to any questions that you guys have. Marie is asking, can I direct sow bunching onion zone 10 in my... Yes. So you're zone 10 like me. I haven't planted these yet because I'm waiting for my cool season, the proper time of year, which is October. In October, I really start to feel like the coolness. We're not getting extreme heat, none of that kind of stuff. And I'm going to start direct sowing all of these seeds. I don't know what pack you got, the 6 or the 12 pack, but all of these things I will be just direct sowing come October. I actually thought maybe to start doing it this weekend because literally we have a few days left, but it's still a little hot. Like it's hot as I sit here today. So I'm going to wait maybe the second week of October or something like that until like you feel like the coolness, the cool down. So yeah, then you can just start direct sowing the onions, everything. All right. So, I mean, do you guys have any additional questions? It could be anything. It doesn't have to be just about, the seed subscription seeds specifically. I'm opening up now to any general gardening questions. Or like, I was in Costa Rica and I just finished a permaculture course. One second, guys. Let me get a drink here. I finished a permaculture course, and I went because I actually have never done a course, like an official course, or I didn't go to school to study like gardening or growing food or anything. I actually went to school and got like a medical related degree because that's what my parents wanted. And so I ran into somebody that had completed a permaculture course, and they were telling me about it. And I was like, man, I really should like do that at least, once in my life. Go take like an official course and just see what I get out of it. And so I did a whole bunch of research and I landed on a permaculture school called Finca Tierra in Costa Rica. I actually found a whole bunch of videos about them on YouTube, and that kind of was like the deciding factor. But I went there, just I wanted to learn more about plants. And I went there and I'm like, dude, I already know about plants. Like, I really do. I've gathered a lot of knowledge throughout these years. But they also taught like permaculture design, which is something I totally don't have knowledge on. So like how to grow food with nature instead of against it, how to compost, also black soldier fly composting, basically taking all your waste and recycling it through your garden system, so to speak. So nothing is wasted. And there's a lot of things I'm going to be changing in my garden because of this, so I don't waste anything. And I also start producing my own fertilizer, basically, my own nutrients for my plants. The cost of fertilizers has gone up so much the last couple years. And I do love using them. I use organic fertilizers. And they're great, but the cost is a little concerning. Like even me as a nursery, and I have access to like bulk wholesale prices of fertilizers, has gone up. So, and me going into like the stores and seeing how much they cost now for like you guys, like the consumers, so to speak, it's insane. Like it's gone up a lot. And same thing with like treatments and sprays and all of this stuff. So I really want to like hone in on producing this stuff myself and teaching other people how to do that. It's not hard to do. It's just learning a new skill, right? And we all produce kitchen scraps and waste and stuff like that can easily be converted into compost, nutrients, whatever. Compost is great. You should be doing that. But the whole black soldier fly or worm vermicomposting, I think it's called. I probably said that wrong. But that whole cycle there of using insects, and you end up having insect frass or insect castings, which looks like soil, that is much more higher in nutrients than compost. So I definitely want to target that and get into that, especially when fertilizing fruit trees. They're kind of like a little bit more hungrier plants compared to like actually, no. Annual veggie crops are also pretty hungry and nutrient hungry. But it's just good all around. So I'm going to be experimenting with that, building that here at my garden, here at home. And then if it works out, I'm successful, I will definitely be doing YouTube videos to teach you all how to do that as well. Let me check the questions here. Thank you, Barbie. I specifically started posting stuff online because of Florida gardeners. I'm born and raised here, gardening my whole life, and it's a huge struggle here. Like I have to admit, like Florida is one of the most difficult places in the United States to be growing food. It's not impossible. But we definitely deal with some crazy things here. Like we're the Australia of the United States. So we get every disease, every pest, like to the extreme. And we deal with a lot of soil issues too that other people in states north of us that have colder climates don't deal with. And so it's like on another level. And so I started sharing what I know and information because of that. Like I really wanted to help my fellow Florida gardeners out. And if you came from a state north of Florida and you moved down here and you were really good at gardening before and you came down here and you're like, what the heck? Nothing grows for me anymore. Throw out whatever timing you have in your head that worked in your previous state. Just throw that out of your head because Florida is like the opposite of that. And when you buy seeds and stuff from, I don't know, just let's say you go into the store and you buy a pack of burpee seeds. The directions on those seed packets are geared for temperate climates, not Florida. Florida is similar to Hawaii and Puerto Rico, and that's pretty much it. Like, we are subtropical, tropical. Oh, also some portions of coastal states, like this very southern parts of Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, that kind of stuff, like coastal, if you're touching the Gulf Coast. Some of you are actually also considered subtropical climates. But anyways, it's a very small portion of the United States that is subtropical, tropical, and that deals with like certain issues. so those directions and stuff aren't going to be helpful for you if you're located in those states. But of course, I don't want to like just limit gardening to just people in Florida or tropical areas. I explain how to grow this stuff no matter where you're located. So, but yeah, I did start because of that, because Florida is just so unique and a lot of people struggle with it and trying to understand it. So yeah, that's why I started doing this. T. Oliver saying, when you say to wait for the temps to cool off before I plant, how cool or what degree should I wait for? All right, if you want to get really specific, there's a website called plantmaps.com. If you haven't checked out your area on it yet, I highly recommend just take a look at it and see what it says. So you go to plantmaps.com, you put in your zip code and you search, and it will pull up lots of different kinds of data, like your garden zone, your first and average winter frost dates or spring frost dates, like whatever, stuff like that. But at the very bottom, there's a chart that says for each and every month, the max average high temperature and the max average low temperature. So I find that for cool season crops, especially brassicas, it's time to plant those the first month in your fall season that your average max high temperature is at 85 degrees or below. For me, that's the month of October. So that's why I'm saying, for me, I'm going to start direct sowing seeds for all this cool season stuff in October. If you're located, I don't know where you're located, T. Oliver. If you're located south of me, I'm in Orlando, Florida, then you might have to wait until November or maybe even later. I don't know. I don't know what that chart's going to look like for you. If you're in a state north of me, that's obviously going to be different. Maybe your max average high was in August or right now in September, whatever. That's kind of like a very pinpointed, accurate way of looking at it. Definitely study ideal growing temperatures for every crop that you plan on growing and try to time your planting to that for it to grow during whatever that ideal temperature range is for it. That's another way of gardening that gets like super minutely accurate, and that is something that I look at a lot. Like everything that I plant and grow, I'm looking at its ideal temperature range, and when I tell people like here's how you figure out when to plant this thing, I talk about temperatures a lot as well. So yeah, go check out that website, put your data or pull your data from there, take a look at it, and see when that occurs for you. Or if you don't want to do all that, you can just walk outside and you'll notice, like year after year of gardening, you'll be like, oh, it's cool now. I can do this. Like I don't have to be checking like my max average temperature or whatever. You just know, all right, it's time. But yeah, you can also look at data and numbers if you really want to. Thank you, Grizel, for recommending my channel to people. I really appreciate it. Yeah, Barbie, you're in Miami. Yeah, it's a struggle. I know. You guys are definitely hotter than me here in Orlando, but take that to your advantage. You can grow the most tropical stuff ever, like some things that I can't even grow here in Orlando. For example, you can grow breadfruit in Miami. If you don't know what breadfruit is, it's a tree that produces a fruit, but it's like, it tastes like carbs, like bread, like potato-y, and it even has a potato-y texture. If you're from Puerto Rico, you've probably eaten breadfruit before. You can find it at Latin American grocery stores. It looks like a big globe, green globe thing. My family's from the Dominican Republic, and I've never seen them cook or eat it. I'm sure they know what it is, but I don't know. I'm sure Dominicans cook it. It's just my family doesn't. But it is a really good, like if I had space and I was in a warmer climate, I would be growing breadfruit, a lot of soursops or Rollinia, mangosteen, like all of this. You guys can grow lychees. I always say it wrong. I don't know, guys. Whatever. You know what I mean, though. Lychees. I grow that here in Orlando. You can grow that in Orlando as well. It's one of my favorite fruit. But definitely in Miami, take advantage. I know it's hot, but take advantage of those tropical things and like grow as much of that as possible. Oh, you're in the T. Oliver's in the California desert. Okay. So yeah, check out that website and see what it says for you. I'm sure with you being a desert-ish climate, it's going to be much different than mine. You probably get a lot of heat like I do here in Florida, but your frost dates and all that are definitely going to be a little bit different. Angelis is asking, I mentioned that soldier fly compost. You've never done that before, but your compost was full of larvae. When is it safe to use? I don't want to. Okay, perfect. This is a good question. So black soldier flies they're a naturally occurring species of fly in Florida and in a lot of states all the way up to like Ohio-ish area, I believe. So if you take a container with food scraps, it has to be food scraps specifically. You put that outside. The black soldier flies will find that. They should anyways. They'll find it because they're naturally occurring in your environment. And they'll start laying their eggs in this stuff. They hatch into larvae. And you'll see the little larvae like all in it. It's gross, but that's what it is. When I was in Costa Rica, they had 2 huge like tank things that they were growing these black soldier flies in. And the black soldier fly is actually an aggressive fly. So they will keep out other flies or other insects out of their compost bin, whatever you're using. So that's good. You don't have to worry about, you know, I'm worried that I will attract a whole bunch of gross flies to my backyard because I'm in a very small urban neighborhood. My neighbor's house is literally 50 feet away from me right now. Like we're close. So I don't want to get in trouble with my neighbors or my HOA or that kind of thing. So I was really concerned about like attracting flies. But black soldier flies, they're not the same as house flies. And they only go for like food scraps like that outside. And they block everything else out. It also doesn't smell very strong. So that's another concern of mine. It doesn't have like a strong smell when the black soldier flies are like doing their thing. So the larva will grow. You'll notice that the larva will change from like a white color to like a grayish, almost black color. And that's when they will start crawling out of the bin because they want to pupate or whatever you call it. I'm not an insect person, so I'm not sure the term. But they want to now change into their adult form. So the larva will crawl out of the container, drop down to hit soil. They want to go into the soil to then, I guess, hatch out as a black soldier fly now. A mature black soldier fly is my guess. A lot of people will capture that larva as they crawl out. They'll like block it and only have like a tube. So they will crawl through this tube and drop into like a bucket, and that they'll be all collected in this bucket, and you can feed that like to your chickens and stuff like that. So that's a closed loop system. You're now putting waste, food waste, compost, whatever, and this black soldier fly is eating it and changing that into nutrients. So the black soldier flies, when they eat this stuff, they're breaking it down, they're eating it, and they're pooping. And their poop is what you want to collect as the compost, the fertilizer, whatever. Insect frass is super nutritious. It's more concentrated nutrients than compost. And it also is inoculated with a host of like microbiology and all this stuff, that good stuff that you want to add into your soils. And if you are a southern gardener, I don't know where you're located on this, but I guess you're in Puerto Rico. I'm going to assume that you guys also get like root knot nematodes and that kind of stuff in your soil. It's usually hot climates that get this. You want to really increase the soil biology with good stuff to kind of like knock that population of root knot nematodes down, right? So inoculate your soil with a bunch of the good stuff so that the bad stuff can't survive in it, or there isn't enough space for them to survive in that ecosystem, or their numbers at least drop down. So that's something that I'm like focusing right now. I don't have a terrible like root knot nematode problem. I have one garden bed though that definitely has it. I just got it tested and they told me what species of root knot nematode I have specifically, so I know exactly what plants I can plant in that garden bed that will either kill them or deter them or like whatever. So that's really important. I will be doing a video all about root knot nematodes eventually once I get my process down and I can verify that it works and it is actually reducing their numbers or whatever. And I have to retest at the end. But anyways, it's coming. So anyways, that's why I'm very interested in black soldier fly larva production and getting that insect frass to use to improve my soil here in my garden, or worm castings as well. And those ingredients are really expensive. Like if you want to go to a store and just buy it, that stuff is expensive. Even for me, I can buy it in bulk. It's still very expensive. So that's why I want to make it at home. And I also have chickens at my aunt's house, so I plan to feed them that soldier fly larva. So it's a closed loop. The larva will eat that stuff down. You know it's ready when you don't see larva in it anymore. And it should look like, when I took this course in Finca Tierra, of this permaculture course, they said it should look like crumbly black chocolate cake. And it's not going to smell, you're not going to see larva in it anymore. Because the larva, they ate everything, so there's no food there for them anymore, and so they leave. Like they're not in it anymore. So that's an indicator that it's done, and you can now take that stuff out and use it as compost on your plants. So it's a closed system. You're putting in waste, the larva eats it up, converts it into fertilizer that you can now reuse in your garden to produce more food, and it also creates protein that you could feed your chickens or pets, lizards, whatever. I think lizards eat them too. So that's what we mean by closed systems, where you're utilizing all your waste, everything, nothing is getting wasted. But anyways, pana, yep, angeles, yeah, pana. Breadfruit is also called pana in Spanish. Yeah, really, really tasty. I actually ate it for the first time while I was at the permaculture course in Costa Rica, because they grow it like crazy there. And I was like, man, this stuff is delicious. Luckily, I can buy it at the grocery store. I've seen that. Idali is asking me, when I say food waste, do I mean like dinner leftovers? Yes, actual food waste. So for black soldier flies anyways. So like, for example, you're not going to put paper, like cardboard or paper, in a black soldier fly bin. You can put that in a worm composting bin, because worms eat paper products. That's great for them. They actually love that stuff. So yeah, you're not going to put that in there, in with the black soldier flies, or like wood or wood sticks, stuff like that. Or even like leaves, like raked up leaves. Black soldier flies aren't really going to go for that. They want food waste specifically. Don't put manures in there either. Like, you know, rabbit manure, chicken manure. No. Don't put that with black soldier flies. Put that in your compost stuff. So yeah, I got a little like mini trash can thing that you can put on the inside of your kitchen cabinet, like when you open the door, just for my food waste. So I just throw it in there separately, and then when it's full, then I'm gonna take it out. I gotta still build my black soldier fly thing. No, I'm gonna take a trash can and convert it into a black soldier fly little unit, because it's, you know, trash cans are easy for everyone to find at the store. They're relatively inexpensive. Like for $30, I can get a brand new trash can, and I gotta modify it to build this little black soldier fly thing. So if all else works and it works good, then I will make a video on it and teach you guys how to make it too. But I never like to like recommend anything unless I personally have done it myself. Barbie is asking, and I have 3 minutes left, guys. 3 minutes left. Because I gotta go. I gotta be on time today. But Barbie's asking how you're trying to plant jicama. What do I think of it? Jicama is great, and you're in Miami, it will love growing in there. It definitely loves the heat, all of that stuff. You can plant it now if you want to, because in Miami you guys barely get a frost, so you can plant that through the whole winter. I forget how many months it takes to be ready for harvest. Exactly, it's somewhere between like 6 to 9 months, something like that. It does take a while, but it produces a huge root, and it's abundant. Yeah, if you like jicama, that's a great option to grow in subtropical, tropical climates. If you've never eaten jicama before, go to the Asian grocery store or a Latin American one. Go buy a root and see if you like it. Honestly, I prefer to eat it raw, because it's like kind of sweetish, crispy, and juicy. So I prefer to eat it raw, but there's a lot of different ways you can eat jicama. Angeles is saying no eggshells. That's a good question with the black soldier fly. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that one up. I'm not sure. Technically, it is a food, but I don't know if the black soldier flies will eat that. It's a hard shell. Not sure if they can break it down. I'm not sure. I'll have to research that. Yep. Perfect. I'm trying. I have a lot of projects set up that I need to start doing, inspired by everything that I learned from the permaculture course. And what I have to do, this permaculture farm I was on, Tierra Finca, was a 10-acre farm. They're huge. Okay. I have to take that knowledge that I learned from them and learn how to scale it down to make it easier for normal people that don't have 10 acres of land. I have a 1/4 acre lot. My house takes up half of that. And then I'm also have not started growing things in the front yard because I have an HOA. It's not the most strict HOA, but I have an HOA and I don't want to anger them or attract bad attention from them. Pretty much they don't care what you do in the backyard because it can't be seen from the street since I have privacy fencing. So I do want to expand to the front though, but just to put it in perspective, like how small of land I have here to work with. So whatever things I learned from that permaculture farm, I have to scale that down and make it work for smaller spaces, smaller gardeners, which is the majority of the United States, I think, is gardening in a situation like mine, like a small little piece of land, right? We don't have acres and acres of land. So I really try to take things that I learned, these concepts, and then transfer them into a way that is going to work for smaller gardeners, and using supplies and stuff that is easy or common enough to find at stores, right? So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm like building these things, trying to figure it out, trying to make it work. And then once I get that process down, I will definitely be doing tons of YouTube videos and sharing that with you guys. Jicama fries, that's a great idea. I can't say that I've ever had jicama fries, but that sounds great. All right, guys, it is 12 o'clock exactly, so I'm going to end this class. I really appreciate all of you that came in and hung out with me today. If I mention stuff during the class, whatever stuff, I really try hard to put links in the description so you can find it or whatever, because I always get tons of questions. So go check out the description. If you missed this class, it will be uploaded, or missed parts of it or want to rewatch it or whatever, it will be uploaded in a few minutes to my channel as well, and you can review that. In October, I'll be doing a live class. I want to teach something garden related. So that's coming. I don't have dates yet, but I try to do at least one live class a month for everyone. And then I do a live class after I ship out a seed subscription. Like today's was because of the seed subscription I just shipped out for all of you all. So that would be once every like 3 months. So that's like the schedule that we're at right now. But thank you guys. Thank you so much. I'm going to go check out the new H Mart in Orlando. If you're in Orlando, you know what I mean. It's crazy. They just opened an H Mart Asian grocery store. I love the Asian grocery stores. I always find the coolest like veggies and stuff there. So I'm going there with some family to go check it out and have lunch. So that's why I got to end it right now. But if you have any questions, feel free to email me, info@jarrahsgarden.com. Don't forget I'm having a fall plant sale, 15% off all plants with discount code FALLPLANT15. You can find the details in the description as well over on my website, jarrahsgarden.com. And yeah, thank you so much, guys. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day.